That's great. That's great. All right, we need an opening. So here's the opening. I'm gonna give you the opening. We wrote it. We're ready to go. So this is a very special episode of Brokering Success. This is what's called a get. Like when Jerry got Obama to go on Comedians in Cars Drinking Coffee.
Huh?
This is that good. I couldn't do this myself, so I called in two friends. I got Adam Hofer on the drums, and I've got Stephen Cohen on bass, because the guest today, I can't do it by myself. The guest is Tom Samet.
Hey.
Hey, Tom.
Hey there.
Unbelievable.
It's a pretty good opening. So here's the state. I know him 20 years. How about you guys?
Adam, go ahead.
Let's call it like 5.
As long as not, Adam, it's when I first started Instagram. I've been on Instagram for 10 years almost. We know the beginning of that. How long have you worked in your business you're in now?
7.
I know you're 7 years.
So let's call it 7.
Working at the Range Rover place when I first met you texted me about a Jaguar station wagon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah.
Tom, remember? Do you remember where we met? How we met?
I think through Leslie and David, maybe?
We met through Leslie and David because I had to drop off
Correct.
a gift for you after a party or something. And that's how we initially met. And then we had a major faux pas. My major faux pas. Do you remember?
I don't like to remember that.
I spent all dinner having to rebound
Boy.
at Bell and Anchor. No, we had a great time.
Yeah, I forget right away. Bad. I remember everything good. That's why we take on projects that we do, right, Lee? We only see what's good and we try to fix the bad and continue forward.
You do a second podcast on taking on new clients. I swear to all things holy, and it applies to every single person here. When you have people in this universe that you like working with, you have to grab them and never let them go.
Correct.
Right.
Because 90% of the universe, I don't even understand it anymore.
They wake up
really
in the world and they don't see a productive, positive, I consider myself an ambitious person. I think the three of you are ambitious. We're client pleasers. We like to make people happy, and we admire all 4 of us. That's something very special.
But they have to appreciate it.
Yes.
But they have to appreciate it. Right.
But I will say that I think that, people always say, oh, your industry must be so dog eat dog and clients and you're all competitive. And I said, no, not really. I think good people attract good people. And for the most part, I think all of us deal with really good people. Doesn't mean we don't have headaches and, ups and downs sometimes. But Tom is actually, you are the epitome of that. And I know so much of what you do is, people know you so much through your social and your Instagram and all of that. But a lot of that, everything you post just has a positive vibe.
People
being with you
before they hire us, and that's a good thing. And I feel the same way about the three of you. There's a comfort zone. It's sort of the ice is already broken, and they sort of know what we're about. That we're moving and moving. We're going to tell them the truth. We're all pretty much truth tellers. I think at this point, we're not.
Yes.
We'll just get right to it. If you want to hear the truth, ask one of us. I mean, we'll tell you the truth.
Well, 3 of us are too old to deliver anything but the truth, and then there's Adam. So
that's it. It just
you know how we met, right?
Delivering the truth makes life much, much easier.
Oh my God. It's like I get off on it at this point. I swear to God, there are very few things that are better. It's great. You know how we met, right? We met on a project where I was a colossal pain in the ass. If not for my mother and for my ex-girlfriend reaching out to you 5 years ago in the pandemic, that lunch,
Correct.
we're not here. Right.
Correct. You were a pleasure to work with them.
You are so not telling the truth.
You did.
I was such a pain in the ass.
I wanted every inch of that apartment, one of the radiators, the wood closer to the radiator, and you said you couldn't do it. That was the only problem we had. You were a pleasure, and you made it. And
you know that you and I both give a lot of credit to our mothers.
We do.
Okay. I'm not sitting here talking to you without that woman because you enjoyed spending time with her. And so I just happened to come along for the ride.
Terrific.
But that was in a day when, yelling at carpenters was sport. And I tell everybody the same thing. I just don't have it anymore. I don't, I can get there if I need to, but I don't have it.
Boy, the whole time we worked together, I'm going to tell you the truth. Never. And your mother made it easy. She really did. She made it fun. She laughed. You know, picking out plumbing stuff could be a little boring, and bathrooms and kitchens.
Right. She's fun.
She made it a pleasure. Honestly, Lee. Working with you,
she's fun.
work with you it's a pleasure.
You're nice. You're nice to say that, even though I know I was a pain in the ass. But
were not.
well, like I said, the three of us, Adam is getting there because he's the youngest one here. But you are the quintessential, what you see is what you get kind of guy. Just what it is. The positivity, it's there.
The client we worked with in Manhattan doing their house 27 years ago, I did the house out here, and we just ordered all the windows and the roof. We're doing a total renovation on an 1880s house. It must be 8,000 square feet.
Sure.
And he was a wonderful client. That was I shouldn't say that was the beginning of my career, but it was the beginning of something. I really don't like to work in Manhattan. It's complicated. And I do a crossover client. She was already a good client in Long Island.
Sure.
She was a wonderful client. I love the apartment. That apartment, a testament to you, still looked fresh and good. I think when she sold it, it was 24 years later. And I wouldn't have changed one thing. And your painters, your wallpapers, everybody, all the tradesmen, it held up beautifully, that apartment.
They took care of it.
They did, but it held up
They did
beautifully.
take care of it. That's a big deal. Let's get right into the questions. Where are you originally from?
Me?
Where were you? Where were you born?
This is all about you.
This is all about you. This is,
What are you doing? It's like a
where were you born?
eulogy. This is my eulogy. Old Westbury. I was born in Freeport in Doctor's Hospital, and I grew up in Old Westbury. I was 2 when I moved there, or 1. So I grew up in Old Westbury.
You were born on the South Shore?
I was.
Do people know that?
My mother's a Rockville Center, St. Agnes girl. My father's a Freeport guy. Samet's department store on Main Street. They met. He was getting a blood test. They got married. They eloped, and then I was born a year later and grew up in Old Westbury. And my parents wanted a neutral place for me to grow up. It's a combination of a lot of different kinds of people. Except that now I look back, Old Westbury, everybody was rich, but it was definitely one kind of person, and that was what their goal was, and that worked.
I wouldn't expect to say that your parents eloped.
It was a beautiful place to grow up. I realized I was blessed to be in a beautiful place with our 4-acre zoning, beautiful old homes. You know, it was a gentility there that definitely was a big part of who I am still. And Old Westbury Gardens was a half a mile away. It was a very special place in the North Shore, and that's why I'm back here now in Roslyn Harbor, recreating that life I had as a child.
And it exists.
It does. In pockets of places, it does. Beautiful here.
How did you get into interior design? What got you into this?
My mom's my interior designer. She loved it. She hired somebody to do Jeff Lincoln's father.
God. There we go.
Yep. And then Jenny Monroe hired them. And then they were so much ended up working for Jenny Monroe, and she traveled and went to Europe. And then she had a shop called Valley House Antiques in Locust Valley for 28 years. She managed, and she loved interior design. And then she dragged me to shows. And in the beginning, I didn't want to go, and then I got addicted, and I loved it. And it was like through osmosis, really. My avocation made it my profession, which is like I feel like I've never worked a day in my life. On her deathbed, she told me, she said, I'm going to give you some advice. Don't stop moving and work as long as you can. And she said, you've really never worked anyway your entire life. She was very funny. She was right. I really love what we do. I love it. So I still love it. And she loved it.
Is that what you've always done?
I know I was a buyer for Princeton ski shops in streetwear, but it's a seasonal business, and I needed a more business that was more year round. And I like working for myself.
So you're unemployable like all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't, right? We're all unemployable.
Evan, we work nothing. It's like we're always thinking. I'm obsessed with it still. I just love it. There's always something to learn. There's always something new and something to learn. Yesterday, I was following the lumber prices in the Wall Street Journal. I'm not even sure why. Lumber tell you that, you know, I like to try to find a bellwether, to find something to grab onto that I can identify with.
So what can you tell us about the lumber prices?
The prices are going down, which means the economy is slowing down a little bit in the building department. It's okay.
Right.
Everything after COVID was so overinflated that it's nice to see some. I like to say it's leveling out.
Right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't buy a lot of sheetrock these days, do you, Tom?
Well, through my contractors, I do, and they all tell me how expensive I remember when I started in this business, you could do a bathroom for 15,000 and a kitchen for 30. That was 40. And now bathroom is like, if you're lucky, that's a base. And a kitchen, they're going up to like 250, 300. And if you get it for 150, it's like, just like, I remember my mother telling me about, she thought she lived in the best of times and she'd quote prices to me and I'd go, what? And myself, that person now that I remember, but the quality of things is excellent still. And because of where I work and who I work for and the real estate market in general, the people, if they're going to do the job, they want it to be right and timeless. So my first thing was going to Old Westbury Gardens, which was a house that was built in the 20s, and looking at the kitchen and the bathrooms there, they're still intact, and trying to figure out. All my family were engineers, not me, but all my uncles. My grandfather was the engineer for the bridges for Robert Moses, and I'm always taking things apart to see how they got there. Like a way I don't cook, but it's like if someone eats something and they figure out what's in it, I look at a room and I can figure out how it got to where it is. So that's how I look at when I walk into someone's house and I see something. I take the room apart and I put it together the way I'm going to get finished. I take the job. That's how I work. We work.
Are there any jobs you turn down at this point, or it's all with repeat clients?
Mostly repeat clients. We have a lot of new clients, and I have to tell you, the Instagram has brought me quality clients.
That's great. Wow.
Like
Amazing.
with good budgets and trusting because they see our work. They feel like they know who I am.
Right.
Instagram has been a huge factor. I mean, we were doing really well with the word of mouth and country club locker conversation. You can trust Tom Samet and Nathan, but Instagram really accelerated in the last 10 years and diversified kind of people, which has been good. It's not all investment bankers. It's not all plastic surgeons or, it's like real estate people. It's like a real diverse crowd, which I like.
And you must get pulled all over the place.
Yes, all over the place.
How did Palm Beach get into this mix?
The clients from Locust Valley and Old Westbury and East Hampton also go to Palm Beach for taxes and for quality of life. So if it's I wasn't looking for work down there, but I call them crossover clients. Sure. So client we have a good rapport with from working on Long Island, if they move to Florida or some of them move to Greenwich or Rye. If I've had a long rapport with them and they've been a good experience, we continue. Sure. I'm still working with the client in Palm Beach. It's never ending down there. There's always something going on. There's this, just the way it is down there.
You know what I love about your post, Tom? I mean, I know you have a lot of long and deep friendships. You grew up with Leslie, or David, I think, and that's how we know each other. But that your post, you're entertaining. You're at people's homes, they're entertaining, and you're there. And we've all been with you at parties. But it feels like a lot of times you can tell there's the crossover of your client and friends.
Correct.
In my business, I always say my clients become my friends become my clients.
Here on Saturday night during torrential rain, a blackout with a generator, and out of the 70, I've done work with 30 of them.
Right.
And some of them didn't know each other. They met each other for the first time. When we get a job, the only homework I give the client, I give them 5 or 6 references, and I say, if you pick 3 or 4 of them and talk to them and ask them anything you want. These are people that most of them we've done renovations for, multiple houses, and decorating. And I think it's really important to have the personal aspect with if you're working for somebody, they have to understand that we're not a big team. If you hire me, you see me and Nathan. It's not like, I know there are lots of other people that they go to the first meeting and then they send a team out, which is fine. That's the way they do business. I'm a hands-on, tactile, OCD, stay up at night worrying about, I want everything to be right. I treat every house like it's my own. I tell all the clients that.
Sure.
And I do.
So how many can you work on at one time?
Between 5 and 7, but depending on, I try to stagger them so they're not all done at the same time.
Sure. Right.
And they all look different. I mean, we're doing California Modern for one client. I said, why would you hire me to do California Modern? It's not what we do. And he said, it's your version of California Modern my husband would like. And it's turning out really well. And I laughed because I'm sure.
So Tom, you were in the middle of telling us how these people hired you to do what's normally not your style, California Modern, right?
Right.
But tell me, how would you define your quintessential style?
We do updated traditional, but I try to for each job to look like it doesn't necessarily have our signature on it.
Right. Right.
a lot of money. I don't want all the jobs to look the same. It's fun for me that each one's different.
And you enjoy making each one different.
Correct.
Right. And there are, I don't want to, I don't know for a fade, but I would say 80% of the designers and decorators we come in contact with, it's copy and paste world.
Correct.
There's a theme there. This is what we do. This is what we deliver. And I think the coolest part about what you said is this husband wants California modern. It's not necessarily what you do. You're doing it. It's coming out great. I know a lot of people and they would pass on that job. And yet it expands your offering.
And I
At
told
this point.
I told the client I'm in unfamiliar territory. They're gonna have to be patient with me, and they've been really good.
They trust
See?
you.
Up front about it.
Yeah, up front, totally.
They trust you.
Yeah.
I
And
think it's amazing after your
great.
references at this point.
another part of your brain I'm using. It's like everything's brand new. There's no antiques. It looks great. I'm really happy. It's clean and slick, and it's gotten a lot of good feedback from people who've seen it, which is good.
Where is it?
It's in Oyster Bay Cove.
When are you going to be done?
But another 6 months probably.
Can I ask the next question?
Go.
What I think we're on. What design lesson did you learn the hard way, and how did it reshape your approach?
In the very beginning of my career, I believed in everything I sold, and I told people that if they wanted to sell any of it back, I'd buy it back because I was how all this working. I could rotate it around. And one of the first jobs I finished for this young couple, and the house looked great. They called me up and said, "We're getting a divorce. We have to sell you back everything." I changed that approach. So I actually I helped them with their separate apartments, and I did use some of the furniture, but I don't have that policy.
Did you really buy it all back?
I did. I placed it in 2 different places and bought the rest back.
All right. Well, that makes so they really put that.
I believe in everything I sell enough to be able to buy it back. That was also 1990, but
That's pretty amazing.
All right. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big lesson, I guess.
That's
so we're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing us with clients. I think once you sign the contract, you're tethered to the client, and you want to make sure that it's going to be a good relationship.
Do you have a favorite project?
Whatever I'm working on presently, that's why whatever restaurant I'm in, it's my favorite restaurant. Whatever car I'm driving, whatever husband I've got, I'm people that really just I love the projects we have now. I love them, and they're great projects. I've worked hard to get these good projects and get people that trust you. And the California modern client is very interesting. And I've used all my basic principles I use in traditional decorating, but in a cleaner way with all new furniture. I mean, it's not. I'm a textured person. I like layers. I like character. There can't be a scratch in anything in the house. It looks great. I'm really happy with it. And then I'm really happy.
What percentage of your clients would you say, kind of just they come to you, they give you a sort of general idea of what they're looking for, but ultimately just say, "Tom, do your thing."
That's 75%.
Really? Wow,
That's amazing.
That's
great.
That's a very high number.
Second home business.
Right.
The houses if we're doing work in Palm Beach and the Hamptons, even on Long Island, the clients that are here in Locust Valley area, they have Manhattan apartments, they have ski houses in Aspen, they travel. It's different. A primary home client is different than somebody who has secondary homes. There's a couple of, and in real estate, in places where real estate's valuable, and a lot of them when they sell them turnkey. And that's where I get work. The brokers tell them, "Oh my God, this place is going to sell, but it's beautifully decorated." And the husband that, and I do the next house. We do the next house. So good.
I want to go back to something you said. You were half kidding, but I actually think there's a lot of truth to it. You said, whatever car you're in, whatever restaurant, whichever.
Yeah.
But it speaks to being present and where happiness.
I also joke around a lot.
I know you do. But hold on. Knowing you, we all know you. It speaks to being present and happiness and finding the joy in things. And I think that's really who you are. You look in the moment. Again, it goes back to your Instagram. You post all these beautiful things, all these fun parties, all of that. But every once in a while, there's a beautiful quote or something really meaningful about life. There's a depth to you. With all the fun, there's a depth.
What I took my whole life to learn.
Yeah.
Whether it would be decorating, or I think that the world right now, as it's needed for the last 10 years, there was always some kind of a bump and a lump that comes. People need cheerleading, and they need to feel good about life, and they need to like know basically it's okay.
Yeah.
And I tell people it's okay, and I make them laugh a little bit, but I want people to learn what it took me my whole life to learn. I have a lot of followers in their 20s, strangely enough, that really their parents have turned them on to me or whatever. And a lot of them tell me that I've helped in a way of guidance that sometimes their own families can't help. And I think it's important. And I try to stay away from politics, religion, money, sex. I joke around about stuff, but there's enough of that everywhere else. I think there's no other account that could show you pretty pictures. The decorating is great. Some flowers, parties are great. But I really would like to be remembered for being a good person, making you laugh a little bit, and philosophy, and maybe helping people just sort of manage their feelings, expectations, their insecurities. And that's what I really do. And Saturday, when I do my Saturday weekend preaching, I really feel good about life.
It's wonderful. It
And
comes
Did you see
across.
all of this?
People,
Did you see all of this coming?
I get people telling me how something gave them strength at a time that was hard, or sadness, or it's
Right.
good.
Well, I mean, the kids in their 20s, they need a voice, and they're desperate for the positivity. But jump into Instagram for a minute. Did you see any of this coming? Like
No.
when you logged on? No.
And I don't consider it work. People think, oh, who does your Instagram? So all day I'm running around taking pictures of projects anyway. So I have the pictures anyway. And then I have photo albums from God knows when. I have pictures taking for, 15 years. It just sort of all works. I mean, sometimes it's a little random, but it's all positive and upbeat. I like to see what people have on, what they're serving. I mean, it's like a voyeur. I want to glance. I don't want to get into it too deep. But, oh, look, they look nice in a navy blazer. Maybe I should wear a navy blazer. I should. This sort of thing.
With piping.
I love
Got
all
it
that.
with
I'm gonna ask that Tom just answered like 4 questions at once.
That's
But
right.
to be more specific, can you share a story behind a post that resonated more deeply than you expected?
Somebody who was dying and only a few days to live. And they caught one of my posts and they sent me this note. And they said that I gave them strength at a time that was like that they were reaching out and no one was able to help them. They had the priest come and everybody else. And I almost went into tears. And this is someone who had followed me for a couple of years in California. And I was extremely touched. I told them that I made their last couple of days easier. And it made me feel good.
Wow. That's powerful.
That's amazing. That's wow.
It goes back
You got me just telling the story. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brought tears to my eyes. I've had a few things like that. People are really in bad shape, but it's nice that the words can help somebody. I respond to almost everybody that sends me a DM I feel is sincere and meaningful. I don't go into a long recitation, but I let them know that I've read the DM and I feel I'm appreciative that it helped them.
Right.
Love that.
Do you think
I don't really watch television. I barely read the newspaper. I mean, I do watch the news in the morning, but I do spend a lot of time with Instagram, and I have a lot of really good friendships. I would have to say, out of the 70 people that came here, about 15 of them were people I met on Instagram that I've become very close with, that I have more in common with than I do with some of my friends I've known my whole life.
well, and
That's what's great about it. If you use it the right way, it's really an incredible way to connect with people that are like-minded and have the same interests, if you use it the right way.
do you understand your gravitas on it?
A little. I sort of do and I don't, because I'm still, even though I've been on it a long time, still in that.
I'm going to ask you that question again because we just had a fire engine go down the block.
There's a rowing shell going by. Oxman is yelling from the back at the row faster. It's very funny.
That's okay. So I'm going to ask you the question again. Do you understand your gravitas into what you're putting out and the meaning of it?
Yeah, I do and I don't. I mean, when Nathan and I go out in public, there are strangers that come up to me and they're very emotional. They're very emotional. That's something I don't even remember I posted 5 years ago, re-guided their life. I think it's also the way that Nathan and I handled my mother. I think everybody's got older parents and everyone's, it was a time that I think some of those posts about how we took care of my mother at the end really helped a lot of people. And
Definitely.
That's tough. That aging thing and the aging parent thing is tough.
Yeah.
I miss my mother, but 96 years was a good run and I have absolutely no regrets. And you know, I think it's a lot of things I go through in my life that everybody's going through that I just try to, you know, make sure that it's okay. Even I don't have any children, but I post things about children that you know, and pets. I think it's important that no one's forcing someone to look at the Instagram. You have to want to look at it. I even tell new followers when they meet me at a party, oh, I'm going to follow. I said, you know what? I'm not for everybody. I post too much. I could really smother you. Just, you don't have to follow me. And and if someone doesn't want to follow me, very rarely do I have to block somebody because I've got a pretty strong, though it's on a private account, very rarely do I have to block somebody. People try to sell me stuff and I block them. I've really never been, nothing bad's ever happened to me with Instagram. And it's
So
a pub.
you've never had somebody
They
sort of like dip into stalker territory.
Someone tried to sell Bitcoins, but when they took the,
Oh, you're not a unicorn. Everybody tries to sell Bitcoins.
yeah.
What about
I'm not somebody, I don't flip out about things like that. I try to save my energy for other things. I'm not, highly toxic or whatever. You can get crazy. It doesn't matter.
Were you outgoing in school or were you shy?
Very outgoing.
Very outgoing.
Very.
That's interesting.
I streaked across the lawn in 1970 office with head of the PTA to keep me in the school.
Lee, you say that's interesting because normally when you meet a guy like Tom, you find out that as a young adult, they were very introverted, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was never in a school play. My mom would come to the play. She would take off from work. She was raising me as a single mom. And she would come just to see my feet underneath the curtain because I was in the stage crew. But I had incredible stage fright until age 48.
Wow. Really? I was told every day I was the handsomest, smartest, most talented person on earth.
Nobody ever told me that.
Every day she told me
That's
that.
the problem.
And she was lying, but you know what? It helps. I told Adam, Adam's wife, self-esteem is the greatest gift you can give somebody.
Absolutely.
Full of yourself. I also consider myself privileged and not spoiled.
Right.
Not spoiled. I really appreciate everything and take care of things and understand the work ethic it gets to get what you have to have. And there's a difference between privileged and spoiled. But I also think self-esteem is a really important gift you give your spouse, you give your child. I really is a big part of where I preach.
It's a big one.
I also think you're sitting in a zone of gratitude at this point in your career that you not only didn't see coming, but like you and I have texted things and we're like, someone's driving us crazy or whatever. And you're grateful for that too.
Correct.
You're grateful for the action because
Correct.
without the action,
there's always going to be challenges. It's too easy. You know what? I have two clients that are more OCD than me. They're really difficult. And I try to think of the question, answer the question before they ask the questions. I try to think of it and have the answer. And I tell them what's wrong with something. If something's installed and I'm not happy, I don't wait for them to tell me. I just tell them I'm not happy with this. I'm going to fix this. And that, most people don't do that.
No, you're exceptional at that.
How
have you been able to keep, because it impacts my thought when I'm posting something that isn't a picture, because I know if I post something with a particular word or slant, it ain't getting reposted by Tom Samet. Have you been able to keep every curse word on the planet off of your Instagram page?
If somebody, it happens very rarely. I'm not a cursor. My family never heard my parents curse, never heard them. It just was not in my realm of, that my parents weren't bigots. They weren't drunks. They didn't curse. I don't know. So it's a lot to do with who you're around. And I don't like that. I think there are other ways to communicate with somebody. That's not my thing.
I'm out.
I'm
out of the party.
And I was with somebody. No,
Nathan,
I just don't, I don't even hear it. I don't want to hear that. So I'm not
Nathan introduced me to a group of people when we were at Hunters, and they said, this man curses more than anybody I've ever met, I've ever seen on Instagram. I still love him. And I said, that's true. It's true. That's Brooklyn. It's the Brooklyn in me.
Yeah.
My mother was a fine person. She is a fine person.
The party I had the other night, there were two guys that I do business with who I really love and adore. And they were a little rough. They both came from Brooklyn. And they were Mill Basin, right? Is that right?
Yes, Mill Basin. Cool birthday.
70 people, and they found each other. So the two of them brought me over and they said, look, it's another thug. And I said, we're all thugs. Everybody's got different packaging.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Like everybody's packaged. And they're great guys. They're terrific guys. One of them is a bodyguard for celebrities. I mean, it's like, you know, it doesn't get, but he carries a gun. It doesn't get any. And the other guy's in the trash business, you know, commercial jobs. And they're great guys. And they use foul language sometimes. I know, it's all right. Listen, but
I
everyone,
met the trash guy. I met the trash guy at Hunter's with you, and turns out we grew up 3 blocks from each other.
that's him.
That's him. I know. But so I know once I write something, if there's it's never getting reposted. It could be the secret to plutonium. And
I'm not going
it ain't
to
getting
repost
reposted.
something that's got foul language. It's not my thing. Just not my.
No,
It's not the way I think. So I wouldn't repost.
You know, I think you figured out something that all of us who do
Also,
social
I want
media and all that.
If children to be able to watch my account, like I have grandmothers, people my age, and their children, the grandchildren of the grandmothers following this account. I'm not going to put something on that a 10-year-old child can't look at. Once in a blue, it's a little marginal, but what's the point? They can go somewhere else for that. Everywhere else on the internet.
You hit a niche without trying.
Correct.
You niched down without even realizing you were niching down. Everybody who does any of this social media, don't post about this, don't post about that. Stay in your niche. Your niche. Everybody can wake up every morning.
It
As long
doesn't.
as
I get urged like everybody else to like say something political or something or do it, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to have on social media, and it's not something I'm obsessed with. So I think there are other ways to communicate. I think it would shut people down. My audience down.
I totally agree. I think people would be like, "What? Who hit him over the head?" I don't think that's reasonable. I mean, people are going to you for what you're delivering,
Correct.
and we all need it.
They can look at. There's so many other accounts where you can get all kinds of stuff that's negative or rougher. That's not what I'm doing. It's okay. If I don't like something, Lee, if I don't like a restaurant or a person, remember I grew up in Locust Valley. In Locust Valley, if you didn't like something, you negated their existence. So I'm a little like that. If I go to a restaurant and the food's really bad or the service and I feel whatever it is, I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to say how bad it was. Nobody wants to see that. Or the car service was for the car I didn't like. You know what? I let that go. Let somebody else do that stuff. I'm not doing that. I only post things I like.
I won't do that either for the most part because there are people whose livelihood depends
Correct.
on that business, on that job. And so the idea that someone as doofus-like as me should impact someone's ability to have a job
Correct.
as a busboy, that I don't think that's appropriate, and I don't want that. That's not karma I want. I really don't. It's not worth it.
Though that you can tell a lot about somebody and how they treat somebody in a restaurant or how they treat staff in their house. And I watch carefully, and I think it's because I'm staff basically. You don't want to work for someone that's belittling somebody that they think is beneath them. I don't like that.
I'm in the dating world. There's two deal breakers. Number one is you gotta love dogs. And number two is you gotta treat people in a restaurant well. If you ignore them, there's no second date. I'll tell you right now. I don't care what you look like. There's no second date. And that tells everything. That tells a lot about somebody.
A lot.
It doesn't cost anything to be right.
Since I moved to Roslyn, which is a very nice place, people don't let each other out in traffic. They don't hold the door open for you when you go through for the next person. And I'm trying to single-handedly change Roslyn the direction. And it's like, Nathan's like, what are you doing? I said, you know what? I'm letting this person out and smiling and waving at them.
Right.
They're on their phone. They're not paying attention. Locust Valley, when I go to the deli there, everyone says good morning. If they don't know you, they hold the door open. There's definitely a quality of life. And even in the Hamptons all those years, because I was there for so long and off seasons, the same people were polite. There's something about the quality of life. And I really try to extend myself. I don't just ignore somebody. I try to remember their name. I cheat now because my memory isn't as good as it was. And I put their name in my phone if it's something I should know, or a bunch of people's names in the phone where I'm going. I think it's important that you are nice to the next person. I think it's the quality of life that's important. I think that it makes me feel good to do that.
Can you imagine if the whole world was acting that way?
It would be wonderful.
It'd be wonderful. So
Yeah,
I want to tell a really quick funny story. The last weekend in the Hamptons, we had people over, and it was a friend's birthday, and we surprised them with a cake. And another friend got up to just acknowledge him and give a toast. They're, I don't know, new to the Hamptons a few years, and she said, Paul's advice to me when I moved to the Hamptons, if I really want to enjoy it here, let people make left turns. Stop and let people make left turns. And that's her motto in the Hamptons. She lets everyone make a left
I
turn,
love
and that's her energy. So there you go.
important.
Yep.
And you know what?
It
You
helps.
take that little bit of a sign and just that little, it tells a lot about the person. And I think it just softens everything.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
should be every man for himself. It should be, all for one and one for all. That's how I really feel life should be. And I've had a good life living I have good friendships and good business. So it's working for me. I don't know if it works for everybody, but I feel good every morning when I get up. I get up every morning happy, grab the bull by the horns. I just love life. I'm happy.
That's amazing.
Big statement.
Unmedicated. A lot of my are on all this stuff to stay happy.
How do you feel about the potential of reopening my father's place in Roslyn Harbor?
It'll be interesting. It's so close to my house. I can almost see it. I spent a lot of nights there taking the taxi home. I was like, half in the bag. I laughed. There's a lot of history in this village of all the bars. And I just saw a guy that in the deli, I said, are you Jimmy Long, 1974, the Chalet, 4:00 in the morning? And he's like, started laughing. And he goes, you recognize me? I said, I do recognize you. Roslyn still has an energy and a vibe that it always had when I left for the 30 years and came back. This house especially has a lot of meaning because I took my lifeguard lessons at Bar Beach across the way. My mother wanted me to be a lifeguard like all her brothers, but they were like in Jones Beach and they had this, it's a way to do it. And I couldn't even swim to the raft and back. And the guy said to my mother, you better find something else for him to do this summer. There's a duck blind that friends had. And I get up in the morning at the sunrise and shoot geese and ducks like right in front of this house. So it's funny. My sister went to nursery school at Holy Trinity across the street, which I can see from the bedroom window. Roslyn Racket Club. I took tennis lessons into the viaduct. It's like very funny to live in a quarter of a mile from so many things you knew. But it feels like you're home again. And whether we stay here or move somewhere else, this has been a great spot. I'm happy to be here. And Nathan loves it. Nathan loves Roslyn and the North Shore.
That's amazing.
That's
How long
great.
how long have you been with Nathan?
14 years.
14 years. That's
Wow.
great.
Best stop.
Right.
The fortune teller said you're going to get 3 love. I had 2 at that point. She said you're going to go back to one of the 2 already. And I said, well, the first one was a woman. I don't think so. And I went back to the second one, 7-year run. And then I'm with Nathan and that's it. And it's very funny how life, it just sort of feels right. It's like, I don't think I would have been right for Nathan 30 years ago, but sometimes you're lucky. You guys are with people that hopefully you'll stay with the rest of your life, 2 of you.
Please God.
And Colleen is really special. I feel I bond to Colleen in a very spiritual way, even though I don't see her very much, Adam's
Thank
wife.
you.
And I have a huge amount of respect for Adam, the way he deals as a family man and a business and his day-to-day life. And it's important. And I think
Thank
you're
you.
a wonderful father, Steve. You're a wonderful father. Children.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bruce Addison was here Saturday night.
Oh, yeah? I adore them. I adore.
And you have mother, but you have the best mother. I think that if I have to give anybody credit for who you are as a person, it's Toby. Lee's mother is a very special person. She really was, and she helped make you who you are. I think, frankly,
She did. If she wasn't into fabric and moving chairs around
There'd be no career.
listen, she was a nurse when I was growing up, and then I had the distinct honor because she's an artist I was the only house in the neighborhood that had naked pictures of women, naked paintings that she painted at night, and there was boobs
funny.
all over the house. And so my house was the house the guys wanted to come to because they're like, look at all the boobs. That woman painted full frontal
You
at
didn't have
Brooklyn College.
Graphic magazines.
She was painting full frontal at 8:00 on Tuesday nights at Brooklyn College.
That's very funny.
She would bring the canvases home in the back of the 72 Scarlock we had, and it probably scarred me to some extent. But hey, she's, everybody who knows Toby knows, and she's coming back to the city. She has a return engagement. She says she misses the city. I don't know about that. We'll see. Still raising the chickens.
It's about me. This video. I thought it was all this, but it's very nice.
Well, it is. So whenever I do these, we end these with
Here
20.
we go.
All right. So we end these with 20 rapid fire questions. Gentlemen, I love both of you, I love all of you, but I love both of you so much. I'll take 18 to 29 if you guys want to pick up 30 to 40 and 40 to 47, and we can just rapid fire them down. And there's no particular order. Full disclosure, I absolutely asked ChatGPT, give me a couple of good things. So ChatGPT went to Tom's Instagram, came up with some of these. I added a few because I know some things. And this is, Tom, this is kind of like, when James Lipton had the Actors Studio in the end? That's what this came from. I'm not going to ask you what God says at the pearly gates or anything like that, unless you want to answer. But here we go. Here are the questions. You ready? Beach. You can only have one. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay. If all of your interiors had a signature scent, what would the signature scent be? I love that. Hamptons, Palm Beach, or no. Hamptons, Palm Beach. What's really the home base?
Hampton.
All right. Stretch for this one. Your dream car is fill in the blank.
Oh, it went off. Tell me again.
Okay. That's all right. Can you hear me now? All right. This one you have to stretch for. This is an important question. Your dream car is fill in the blank.
I like any AMG Mercedes. This is the way it's made, the quality of the way it's made, and the noise. I like AMG.
Yodels or ring dings? Pick one.
Yodels.
Good man. Ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
One word to describe your sense of humor would be
Devilish.
pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Okay. You and Nathan are going to dinner any place. I'm paying. Where are you going?
Hunters.
Knew that too. I know you. All right. If you could furnish a vintage car's interior, which classic make and model would it be? And what fabrics would you use from what house?
It'd probably be an old 1960s Continental and maybe mohair upholstery. I like mohair because it lasts forever.
Can we buy that car and do it? It's like
That was a Chat GPT question, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah.
But I liked it, so I kept it.
No,
I added it to the list.
That's a good one. That's a good
It's
one.
a really good one. Chicken salad or tuna salad?
Chicken salad.
Okay. French fries or onion rings?
Onion rings. From Ben.
All right. Here's another really important one. So stretch for this. Original double stuff or mega stuff? Which Oreo do you go to?
Double stuff. Mega stuff is too big. Too much.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
All-time favorite movie?
I mean, I like all the cliche movies, but I like When Harry Met Sally. I can watch that over and over and over again. I like that. I like slightly neurotic people. It makes me feel normal.
Good one. Adam, pick it up.
Call or text?
Text.
What is your go-to snack while brainstorming design plans?
Red licorice.
Ooh.
Like old-fashioned or Twizzler?
I like Twizzlers.
In your designs, pattern, or texture, which do you rely on more when injecting personality?
Texture.
How many years do you think an unopened Twinkie could last?
For a long time.
What bagel flavor would you recommend to any designer starting their day?
I like a plain bagel because I don't want all the seeds stuck in my teeth to go to meetings. Going around, I have an everything bagel. I go from 0 to 60. I like plain one or everything.
Totally makes sense. Gold trim or brass hardware? Which wins every time?
Hardware.
Brass hardware. Steven, you want to finish us off?
Sure. All right. So which fashion designer would you pair with your aesthetic?
Well, it's a cliche thing to say Ralph Lauren, but probably Ralph Lauren. Somebody who's
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
What's more essential to a great room, natural light or standout light fixture?
When I tell clients when they go look at houses without me, I tell them the only thing I really can't fix is natural light. So that's the only thing I tell them if they go by themselves. So
Right.
Natural light.
Okay. If you could snack on only one thing while sketching, kettle cooked chips or gourmet chocolate?
Chips. Salt.
Salt over sugar. Okay. All right. True or false? The station wagon is the most underrated car design ever invented.
True.
If you could redecorate an iconic Palm Beach landmark, say a historic hotel, what's the first change you'd make?
Not do everything blue, green, and white. I want something all together. I love oranges and colors from the sunset. I would not do what's cliche. We try not to use blue and white in the Hamptons because it's everywhere.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. What's your favorite interior detail that others might consider unconventional, but you think makes a bold statement?
I like a tight back sofa, low arms, 3 cushion. And I think that's a classic sofa that everybody's comfortable on. and it's not too many. There's room for pillows. It's not too much to fluff. The low arms are good if you want to lie on it. So I'm big on that. A 3-cushion, fixed back, low arm sofa.
Very
great.
specific answer.
Yes. Is that like Billy Haynes style? The low.
Yeah, sort of, but round, maybe not as square arms, but yes. I've got sofas in this house from the 1940s and 50s that have been redone many times. I love a good sofa.
Isn't it amazing? Something good that my mother taught me this: buy quality rather than quantity.
Forever.
Good forever. Right. What's your dream car to drive down the coast after finishing a project?
Well, I had a few of them. I had an Aston Martin convertible, dark blue in Palm Beach that I loved, putting down the top and going down A1A. But I was just as happy in the 560 SL or 430 CLK. There's something about going down A1A with the top down that you feel like you're just king of your world. I mean, it's
Right.
very ocean on one side and the houses on the other side. So it really just a convertible. Really, we had a Volkswagen Cabrio down there that made me happy. Even you put down the top there, something happens. It's like
Right.
magical.
And that is one of the most. I love that drive. All right, Lee, bring it home.
Here's the last question, Tom. In 5 years, what do you want to be doing?
Same thing I am now. Be healthy. I want to be
I'm into that.
75, Lee, and I feel on the road. My mother worked until like 90. I just think that I want to work and be happy and, have the energy that I have. And somehow or another, I'm blessed to be me. I feel so lucky. And I didn't know this was about me. This is very funny. I'm very flat.
Let me tell you something.
But I'm long gone. Hopefully somebody will look at it and go, that was a good memory.
As far as I'm concerned, when you're in the room, it's all about you. You are one of those people who stir the drink, my friend.
You're funny.
That's it.
And
I've been very lucky in my
and
life. I've been very lucky, but I have to tell you, a lot of it is my attitude and just sort of. I've been also met great people, and I've kept the great people near me. And I'm blessed to have Nathan, a great relationship, and it's all good. And to work in such a beautiful environment, to work in the North Shore and the Hamptons and Palm Beach and New York, it's a beautiful place. Occasionally we'll go someplace random, like where Nathan's from in North Dakota, and I don't know what I would have done there. I don't think it would have worked for me, but this really works.
That goes without saying.
thanks for taking the.
I had no idea what we were doing today, but I'm so happy. This has been, I'm a little teary-eyed. This has been very interesting.
This was great.
Oh, you're so nice.
Thank you, Tom.
Take care, fellas.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
Thanks for making the time.
Thanks, Tom.